Live from day 3 at Summer NAMM in Nashville. Last day of the summer's biggest gear show. Got John Bollinger here, Perry Bean. You guys know them from Brig Rundowns. Sean Hammond, Jason Shadrick.
It's the dream team.
It's dream team.
Yes.
We're going to tell you about our favorite stuff that we saw today, the last day of the show, down there on the show floor at the Music City Convention Center. Who wants to go first? Are you chomping at the bit again?
Oh yeah, I am. You know what the heck? I'll do it. I have such a I'll do it while I'm thinking of it. There's a company called Waits Instruments.
Waits?
Waits. In fact, let me show you. Got a picture of it. Let's see if this shows up right. Waits. Maybe you can see that. Maybe you can't. Waits Instruments.
Oh, is that just the backdrop of the booth?
Yeah,
so
but
that's not the instrument.
But
okay.
their cool logo. But here's their instrument. But they're making these guitars that have for whatever reason, man, I picked it up and the neck just felt great. The body was had beautiful woods, great workmanship. The setup is just right. It's one of those things where you're hard pressed to do that in a mass production way. You know how some instruments go to a music store, pick some stuff off the wall, and it's not going to feel like an old friend like theirs, but they're really doing things right. I think there's something to watch. Waits Instruments. The guitar that I played is called let me see if I can get this. It's actually, Sean, you're way smarter than me. How would you pronounce that?
Cypher 001E?
Yeah, the Cypher 001E was the one I played. And it was a very cool guitar. Just
Are they like custom?
Yeah.
Was it like a similar familiar body shape? Or?
Well, it was I can show you. I showed it. It didn't really turn out a little bit hard to see, but it's kind of a
neo.
Yeah. To me, it almost is like a cross between kind of Sunset Strip and.
Reminds me of those old Westone guitars from the 80s.
Yeah,
I don't know what sorry, do you guys can hear some disgusting sound that looks like a 2-minute long fart in the background? I don't know what
it's not us.
Oh my god.
Well,
oh good, they're vacuuming the floor here.
Yeah.
they're laying down shrink wrap.
Perfect. Excuse me.
Okay.
Anyway.
So they're a company to watch. I like the idea of a gritty company of people going up there and just starting with great ingredients and putting a lot of time in to do it right. So one to watch. That's all I'm saying. I like it.
Cool. I'm gonna go next. Our good friend Ben Hines, who is one of our funnier, wittier, stranger in a great way authors of our State of the Stomp column every month on PremierGuitar.com and in the magazine. Ben Hines is the head of Dwarfcraft Devices. If you guys know them, then you know they make weird stuff, really cool weird stuff. And their latest pedal is this analog delay called The Curse. And they always have funny names and just weird stuff. Anyway, so it's a Bucket Brigade Devices analog delay. Goes up to 666 milliseconds precisely for the number of the beast.
All right.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
It has so it's analog delay. It also has a modulation circuit. So it has the big knobs there, so you can sort of
Do it with your foot.
move them with your feet. But they also have tap tempo, and there are 4 mini CV jacks so that you can connect to their other pedals that have the same types of jacks, like their tremolo or something, to sync the delay to the rate of the tremolo, and also there's a CV jack for the modulation circuit. And then one other toggle that switches between sine, square, and random waveforms, and it sounded really cool. Ben always makes really weird noises with it, and if you are a fan of weird noises and humor, then you should actually check out his other videos too. He always does
makes really
bizarre,
good
hilarious.
And his column is great.
Yeah,
it's very, really engaging.
So, way to go, Ben.
Way to go, Ben.
Thanks for all you've done in State of the Stomp, and thanks for showing us a cool pedal today. It was like $400. If you're a BBD fan, you know that those chips aren't cheap. So
Is it limited? Does he have a limited number of chips for that?
I don't think so. I mean, they are cheaper than they used to be because there are factories now reissuing the old BBD chips, so they're not crazy expensive like they were like 15 years ago or something, 10 years ago. Anyway, that's my pick.
All right. I'm going to go with the very last video I shot at the show this year. I went by the Wampler booth, and he had this really hip, let me see if I get the glare off there, really hip lo-fi delay called the Doctor, named after, wow, named after Doctor Who, is where the name comes from. And it started off as, I think it was maybe a couple of records ago, Brad Paisley was looking for a real specific, grittier delay. I think it was for the wheel. I think it's probably for the Wheelhouse record or something like that. And so that's what. So Brian made one for Brad, and it was just kind of designed as a one-off lo-fi delay. It's pretty much the exact same control set and feature set as the faux tape delay, but yeah, just that kind of almost dirtier, crunchy repeats.
Like text, like it feels like it has a texture to it.
Yeah, and
cool.
And it was really, I mean, it's from other lo-fi delays I've heard, it's easy for them to go too far, like and almost make it like almost a destructive lo-fi thing. But this is pretty good. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but this was a nice, just lo-fi enough, where he doesn't get into like, okay, I'm only gonna be able to use this in my, death metal polka band or something. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that was a pretty hip.
Yeah,
of course it does.
And it was made specifically for Paisley?
It started that way. Yeah, it started that way. Then I think, this was a couple years ago, and then I think Brian just almost probably just felt like he got around to, let's make a production model out of this.
Yeah, cool.
Let's do it. So.
Cool. That's great.
You like Perry?
What did I see today that I thought was, man, I'm at...
We shot a lot.
We shot way too much today. I think probably one of the things that caught my eye today was Cole Clark. If you guys don't know Cole Clark, they're an Australian kind of boutique acoustic maker. But they're experimenting with new fingerboard woods because obviously rosewood and internationally it's kind of hard for some people these days.
Sites regulations.
Yeah, what is the deal on that? Or do we not get into that? That might be too much.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know that.
I know you know, Sean.
Prevent the planet from being deforested entirely. So, yeah.
Okay. So it's some sort of international regulations.
Yeah, it's called CITES. It's an acronym that, I can't remember exactly what it stands for.
But okay.
What's really cool about that company, if you're into being Captain Planet, they use sustainable woods. Yeah. They have some really interesting, like I think bean wood or something they call it. They have like some black sort of black bean wood they were using for their fretboards that were beautiful. But not to mention, their guitars sound great. They have a really, really interesting I think it's like under the top of the guitar. It's not necessarily under the saddle. They use like a microphone system.
Right.
So yeah, kind of like a transducer system, but it sounds really good. And also this thing's a works of art, man. It looks like a museum piece. It really does.
What I loved about that too, that was actually going to be my pick too.
Really?
Because he said, everybody's trying to make the best sounding acoustic, but we're like 125 years too late to the party. So we want to make the best sounding plugged in acoustic. Yeah. Which is totally the case because the vast majority of us, when you buy an acoustic, there's a good chance you're going to have to plug it in. Yeah. And so that's what they've really focused on. But
it's cool to see somebody actually pay attention to that too, because a lot of, some big manufacturers will be like, okay, cool, we'll put that pickup in it or whatever. But those guys really, really took the time to dial it in. And I've heard a million guitars that I think sound great when I play them, just me. And then you plug it in and it's another story. I have a couple of guitars that have pretty shitty preamps, so it's like, it's really nice to hear somebody really care that much.
Those ones do sound great. Should I do the last one?
You go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was going to be mine. So yes, we doubled up on that.
Alexander,
did you have more?
I have one more.
Okay. I'll do mine. You can wrap us up. Okay, so it was a day of weirdness. Alexander pedals. These guys always do really tweaky pedals, and this is the syntax error. And notice the little like Rubik's Cube graphic on there. It's a, normal size 4-knob pedal, seems pretty simple, and it can be. Like, you can only use the 4 knobs if you want, or plug in an expression pedal. But there's also MIDI controllability through a 1/4-inch jack, not the 5 or 7 pin or whatever it is. And they also have an app. Well, it's not their own app. There are apps that are like built for stuff like this that you can just manipulate parameters
digitally.
If you're a total tweaker, like tons of. I wish I had taken a picture of the app. I didn't get that, but there's just all sorts of parameters that you can program into MIDI or. Anyway, it's pretty crazy, and it sounded like everything from Frogger or Pitfall or Tempest video games from the 80s to
polyphonic, almost.
You can bit crush it way down to like 2 bits, LFO stuff, lots of filters. It was really cool. And it's only $199, and it has presets, 4 presets, and you can expand them to more.
Wow.
So anyway, it's cool.
I've been really impressed with Alexander. I bought a Sky-Fi a couple of months ago to put on my board. And it's almost like every day I learn something new about it because they hide Easter eggs in all their pedals. Like, there'll be some weird setting where if you hold a button and do this, it's like it does something you didn't expect. So I think they're doing really cool, innovative things. And
I remember we did that Sky-Fi video in Anaheim.
Blew my mind. If you guys didn't see that from last year, they put 3 Sky-Fis together, and it was like sonic madness. It was really cool. But hats off to those dudes, man. I think that guy's Matthew.
Yes.
Matthew is like mad scientist. He's one of those cool kids, just really coming up with awesome stuff. I think they have some great stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I had one last pick and one quick one. So here's my pick. Is we went by the Analog Outfitters booth, and they had this kind of 6-sided amp that you might have seen on their Facebook page a couple months ago. So they decided to build this amp. It's 1 knob, so 1 input, 1 knob.
Oh, that's not
LED
just a
light.
speaker cabinet?
That's not a speaker cabinet.
That's a whole amplifier.
That's a whole combo. It's a 1x12 amplifier.
Does it have a Leslie?
They're cool.
No, and it's made of their big thing is using recycled
Reclaimed wood.
from recycled
like
reclaimed
organs
wood.
and stuff.
Yeah, this one is from Hammond, Oregon, and they were telling me like, the light colored wood around the edges is from this part of the organ and that. So the thing was, they announced this a couple months ago. They put it on their Facebook page. I think we might have shared it on Instagram or something, and they're kind of crowdsourcing the name. And we get around to doing the video.
You're really into this show, aren't you? The whatever yesterday, and then this.
That's right.
But so we're doing the video. They had this new amp, and I said, "Well, what's the name?" And they said, "We can't tell you." I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "Well, we're going to announce it, whatever. Like they're going to announce it on Monday." But they said, I was like, well, "What if we announce it?" So when I wrote the Facebook post and we did the video, that was the first time anybody had heard the name of this amp, which is called the Cadet, and it sounded pretty cool. It's just a simple little, put it there. It almost looks like an art furniture piece. Plug it in, crank it up. It's an EL84 amp.
I was expecting a weirder name.
Yeah.
I was
a little bit.
I'm like, Cadet.
like that.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the guy that suggested it,
Right.
the guy who suggested the Cadet name, they're gonna send him a free one,
No,
but it was literally like down to the.
I could have come up with a better name.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, guy. Whoever you are that came up with
Say
that.
one, man.
Man, you guys didn't give me a crack at it.
Count the space ball.
You got to get Lee Bryce to get like a honeycombed wall of those speakers.
Yeah,
No
right.
pressure.
That's right. Yeah, Lee
But
does have an analog.
It comes in combo and then a head. So the combo's $9.99. Head is $6.99.
Is the head also shaped like a?
No, it's like a half. I should have got a picture of the head. It's like a half.
Like a trapezoid.
I think so. Yeah. It's
If you
pretty
guys
cool.
aren't familiar with that company, they make some of the coolest stuff, but I'm worried about them running out of old Hammond organs eventually. Because like they make so much of their gear
They
out
make
of
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they make like
They'll use like old
lunchboxes.
street signs. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool,
I've seen one with a license
Ammo
plate
box.
and like
Yeah.
old metal parts.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
has like
Lee's
a
got a
license
license
plate on it.
plate.
Okay.
So, and the last thing I would say is keep an eye out for the EHX video we did this afternoon because we shot. They have a brand new pedal that nobody's seen before called the. Let me get this name right. Hot Wax, which is a 2-in-1 pedal. They're combining their Cran and their Hot Tubes pedals together into one enclosure. But at the end of that, John, same guy who did the dental surgery earlier.
Yeah. Afghan wigs.
You don't want it,
Afghan
no.
wigs, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the video, we get done, and I was like, and you know, I don't know if you've ever seen a lot of these companies have these big NAMM boards that might have 25 pedals on them, like something like EHX 20.
Right.
I was like, have you ever clicked all of these on and see what it sounded like? And he's like, no. So we just started clicking them all on. And so we just end the video in a wash of weird, modulated
You think it was just like
sound.
Blow out the
brown
preamp
or
on the
something?
camera.
Yeah,
It was pretty close.
yeah.
We were close to the brown sound.
The lights turn off in the building, everything
Yeah.
dims. Yeah. Oh,
I think they should have called it the bikini wax. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
better name. Hey, speaking of weird videos and great videos, Doug Wimbish played that little Supro. That
Short
little,
scale bass was cool.
Man, well, first of all, Doug Wimbish from Living Color and many other things. It's just a brilliant player. But to hear him play this bass, and he ran through some pedals, but when it was just straight, just what he got out of his hands with one pickup.
It's also a slick looking bass. That thing looks like a classic, like a car.
yeah,
Well, to me,
they're
slick.
basically kind of reissues of
The old ones.
class.
Yeah.
short, but it's wild because it's short scale. I thought it looked like a
It looks like a child's bass
like a
or something.
kid's. Yeah, it looks like a kid's bass. But when Doug gets on, it's like, wow, man! And he played for
a hot minute. If you guys are into Living
way
Color,
longer than that.
13 minutes.
like,
Oh no!
about 14 hot ass minutes. And he was wearing it out.
He just bought, and every time you think he's going to resolve, he would go back into
Did
it.
he use that new smaller mothership? Since?
Yes, he did. He used
Okay.
the mother, and that was awesome.
I don't know the details on that, but I do want to talk about that for a second because I didn't have a lot of time to like get into it and really figure out what it was. But I do know that when Doug played it, it sounded radical.
Yeah.
It really sounded cool.
Having something
it
like
sounded
that,
like
small,
it al-
regular-sized pedals.
It sounded like a bit crusher thing, but it was so strange. I don't
Get
know.
this, it's half the size of the original one and half the
least.
price,
Yeah.
At least half.
Sweet.
and does way more. So this is
Awesome.
like the golden age of pedals.
All right, check it out, guys. We got to get out of here. We asked the guys to hold off the noise while they're cleaning up here. But thanks for joining us. Keep your eyes out for all the videos. We'll be streaming out the next few weeks all the demo videos from NAMM, and we'll catch you on the flip flop. Later.
Cheers.
You guys.